In my hand, I have my landscaping business operating manual, but it contains the 16 documents that any employee must sign before I can cut them a paycheck. And if you want access, I'll talk about this in a minute, so you can use this stuff in your business. I've been putting this manual together for some time now, and it's gonna consist of the marketing, administration, sales, production, contracts, all types of things. It's an operating manual for the business. But I want to talk about hiring employees and the risk that you expose yourself to. I just wrote an entire blog article about this, keithkalfas.com/blog. If you want the documents, if you want to know right now, it's keithkalfas.com/16, and I'll put a link below so you can get access to them. And I've spent a lot of time and energy and invested money and everything to make them downloadable so you can print them out and use them in your business. Now, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not advising you. You should ultimately get an attorney in your own jurisdiction to help you, but maybe they'll work for the time being. They work for me, they're my own documents. But anyway, so when you hire an employee and you're just getting started, it might be a quick handshake and then they hop in the truck and you go to work. Or maybe it's a buddy or a friend. But as time goes and you want your business to be more professional and you start waking up to the level of risk you're exposing yourself to, you might take something bad to happen or a simple scare. You know, I remember one time before I would send any employees for a drug test, I would just trust them and take their word. I found contraband underneath the seat of one of my work trucks, and I was pretty scared, and I disposed of it. It was a long time ago. I disposed of it immediately, and it wasn't mine. And I couldn't get any type of confession from anybody, and I felt stupid. So that's when I implemented drug tests. Now, you might be afraid. I could talk about this for an hour. There's many, many different subjects, like if you want them to sign a non-compete form or a social media release form, maybe you spend $3,500 filming a commercial for your business. You're going to run ads with all over the internet, and then now this employee's in the commercial, but then they quit. And a couple months later, they're like, hey, I don't want me in that video. I want you to take that video down, or you're going to hear from my attorney. What if you didn't have them sign a social media release form, and now you got to take down the video? Do you know what that feels like? There's so many documents here. I mean, medical information, media release form, job description. Are you giving an employee a proper job offer letter, offering them an actual job? Is there a job description form? There's all these things that I used to resist in my business because I was so busy doing all the work and so passionate about the business, but so exhausted after work, I literally couldn't even make that part of my brain work. That required sitting down and buckling down and figuring this part out, the administrative or legal part of the business, right? And like I said, I'm not an attorney or anything. I'm still learning myself. But I feel a lot safer by saying, hey, my insurance company requires, or my attorney said I have to have you sign all this stuff before, either digitally or print it all out before I can give you a paycheck. So you're going to have to go for a drug test. Or like, there's a lot of states that have totally legal stuff. I don't know how that works for you and for your business, but you know what I'm talking about. Don't put it in the comments below. Then there's proper government documents they have to sign for proper withholding of taxes and payroll, an actual job application. Do you have them fill out an actual job application with references? What about a background check? Maybe you have high-profile clientele that requires a background check. All of these things. So there's this saying I love. I'll put a link in the description below. It's keithkalfas.com/16. You can read the article that I just wrote. You can get access to these documents and print them out and use them in your own business and start using them immediately. Like I said, you'd want to ultimately find your own attorney and get them redrafted to fit you and your business. They're just what I use in my business. And but there's a lot of very important things that you should immediately, but little by little as you cross this gradient, you're like, man, I got to get protected. I got to have all this stuff. So why not just start now? Get some, it's called MVS, Minimum Viable System. Get some type of system and documents that employees must sign. Now, there's actually 39 documents, but these are just the most important 16. And if you like this type of content, listen to my podcast, the Untrapped Podcast, or if you like this type of video and you have more questions, put your questions in the comments below, and I'll address them. And I want to make more videos about them. But yeah, If you want to go to keithkalfas.com/16, when you get the documents, I've included these training videos where I sit down with the trust law advisor for about an hour. We go about talking about all this in detail of why it's so important. I also go through all the documents one by one, and I verbally break them down and explain them. And there's also another training where I talk about employees and stuff that I won't talk about really much on YouTube. And it's very powerful stuff. It's really a shortcut to the learning curve. But I just wanted to say, if you hire employees, make sure that you protect your assets. And it's not like they're bad or anything. It's just once in a while, I don't know. I don't want that what if, right? Make sure you're protected, because if something ever happens and now you're possibly getting in trouble or something, did you do your due diligence? Did you do things to protect your business, right? It's just as simple as that. Let me know if you have any questions. Oh, you want to know what the documents are? If you go to my blog article, there's a whole list of all the documents and what they are. I'll put a link to the blog article directly below this video. It's keithkalfas.com/blog. And I'll just put a link and you can see what all the documents are.